हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, आज हम पढ़ने वाले हैं क्लास 10th इंग्लिश का फर्स्ट फ्लाइट बुक का द पोएम अ टाइगर इन द जू रिटन बाय लेज़ली नॉरिस। चिल्ड्रन, ये पोएम के बारे में लाइन बाय लाइन एक्सप्लेनेशन जानने से पहले वी शुड नो अ लिटिल बिट अबाउट द पोएट लेज़ली नॉरिस। चिल्ड्रन, लेज़ली नॉरिस was a Welsh poet who was also a short story writer, and this poem that you have in your syllabus, A Tiger in the Zoo, when the poet was 17 years old, at that time the poet has written that. Now to talk about the theme on which the poem is based, we must say that this poem is based on the theme freedom versus captivity. चिल्ड्रन, ये पोएम में लेज़ली नॉरिस ने बहुत अच्छे से दिखाया है कि हाउ फ्रीडम इज़ रिक्वायर्ड नॉट ओनली फॉर ह्यूमन बींग्स बट ऑल्सो फॉर एनिमल्स। चिल्ड्रन, ये जो पोएम है इस पे आपको एक कैरेक्टर के तरह दिखेगा एक टाइगर, द टाइगर हु इज़ देयर इन अ जू। वहाँ पर वो कैप्टिविटी में है एंड द टाइगर इज़ फीलिंग वेरी हेल्पलेस। टाइगर इज़ नॉट एट ऑल हैप्पी इनसाइड द केज, एंड टू शो इट मोर प्रोमिनेंटली टू द रीडर्स, पोएट ने एक बहुत अच्छा तरीका चूज़ किया है, दैट इज़ अ कॉन्ट्रास्ट। कॉन्ट्रास्ट ऑफ व्हाट? Contrast between how the tiger behaves when it is inside the cage and how it would have been behaving if it would be in a jungle or forest, which is its natural habitat. So through this contrast between a tiger in a cage and the tiger in a jungle, the poet Leslie Norris wanted to show us one thing only, that it is very required that like we human beings, these animals also need their freedom. They also enjoy their freedom. चिल्ड्रन, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड हियर दैट वी ह्यूमन बीइंग, हम कभी भी कहीं पर भी अगर हमें कोई फ्रीडम ना हो, वी आर ऑलवेज फीलिंग दैट एज इफ़ वी आर चेंड, हमारा कोई खुद का मतलब कोई फ्रीडम नहीं है, तो ऑब्वियसली वी फील वेरी सैड. सेम हैपन्स विद द टाइगर हियर. The tiger is not at all happy, and what the tiger is doing inside the cage, along with that what the tiger would be doing in a jungle, with this contrast बहुत अच्छे से लेज़ली नॉरिस ने ये पोएम को हमारे सामने प्रेजेंट किया है. तो लेट्स स्टार्ट. सो चिल्ड्रन, द टाइटल ऑफ द पोएम अ टाइगर इन द जू. तो टाइगर इन द जू इज़ द टाइटल ऑफ द पोएम. तो ये पोएम के ऊपर मैं पहले आपको टाइटल के ऊपर पहले बताना चाहती हूँ. और टाइगर इन द जू, जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया कि ये टाइगर इज़ अ कैरेक्टर हियर, एज इफ टाइगर इज़ द कैरेक्टर चोजन बाय द पोएट टू शो अस दैट हाउ मच इट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट द फ्रीडम दैट एवरीबडी एन्जॉयज़. तो टाइगर इन द जू, यहाँ पर टाइटल से आपको पता चल रहा है कि एक टाइगर के बारे में ये पोएम में बोला जा रहा है जो कि जू में है. इट इज़ नॉट इन द जंगल, इट इज़ इन द जू. तो एज एवरी टाइम यू कैन सी इन योर बुक, हियर ऑल्सो दिस टाइम बिफोर वी स्टार्ट एंटर इन टू द पोएम, तो डेफिनेटली want to set the mind of the readers one such before you read some lines are there. Let us go for that. This poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. Read the poem silently once and say which stanzas speaks about the tiger in the zoo and which one speak about the tiger in the jungle. So as I said, this poem contrasts the tiger in a zoo and the tiger in a jungle. But here you will find that in different stanza it is being presented. सपोज एक स्टैंजा में पोएट ने लिखा है कि हाउ द टाइगर वॉज बिहेविंग इन साइड द केज, एंड दूसरी स्टैंजा में उन्होंने दिखाया है कि हाउ द टाइगर वुड बिहेव इफ इट इज़ इन द जंगल. ओके, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट द एक्सप्लेनेशन पार्ट. ही स्टॉक्स इन हिज विविड स्ट्राइप्स द फ्यू स्टेप्स ऑफ द केज ऑन पैड्स ऑफ वेलवेट क्वाइट इन हिज क्वाइट रेज. ही शुड बी लर्किंग इन शैडो स्लाइडिंग थ्रू लॉन्ग ग्रास नियर द वाटर होल वेयर प्लम डियर पास. तो चिल्ड्रन, दिस टू स्टैंजा जैसे कि आपको दिख रहा है, फर्स्ट स्टैंजा में पोएट ने दिखाया है कि टाइगर, हाउ द टाइगर इज फीलिंग और बिहेविंग इनसाइड द केज, एंड वहीं पर सेकंड स्टैंजा में पोएट ने आपको दिखाया है कि हाउ द टाइगर वुड बी बिहेविंग इफ इट वुड बी इन द जंगल. सो लेट अस स्टार्ट विद द फर्स्ट स्टैंजा फर्स्ट, दैट ही स्टॉक्स इन हिज विविड स्ट्राइप्स. चिल्ड्रन, मार्क दैट इट इज ही. So here one such thing we have to understand, the tiger is personified here. It is one of the poetic devices we know, personification. So there actually the tiger is personified. The tiger is considered as if a human being like that. So he means the tiger stalks in his vivid stripes. Children, stalks, the word that also you can see here. Stalks means, children, when someone walks वेरी साइलेंटली विदाउट मेकिंग एनी नॉइज़. लाइक चिल्ड्रन, आपको पता होगा कि कैट्स कैसे वॉक करते हैं. अगर आप खड़े हैं, आपके पास से एक कैट जाता है, तो डेफिनेटली वी कांट अंडरस्टैंड, इवन वी कांट गेट दैट cat is passing by us. तो it is because of that particular movement. So that particular movement कि धीरे धीरे, बहुत ही धीरे धीरे, बिना कोई आवाज़ किए चलना, इसको stalks बोलते हैं. तो he stalks in its vivid stripes. Now children, what is this? In his vivid stripes. Children, vivid means बहुत ही bright, that we can say, looking very attractive, and stripes means you know that tiger, it is the skin is like it has some black stripes on the yellow skin. So that vivid stripes is being referred to here. And the few steps of his cage, okay, it is not like the tiger is running inside the cage. It is stalking, walking very slowly, and inside the cage it is only walking few steps. Okay, so this few steps is also very much significant here, children. Why? Because obviously it is actually showing that it is a very narrow space. In that cage the tiger can't walk for long. It is, the area is very much congested and he is very much confined there. He can only walk few steps inside the cage. Now on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. So on pads of velvet quiet, here actually the feature of the tiger is given, means obviously the physical feature, that on pads of velvet quiet. Children, on pads of velvet quiet, it is referring to the paws of the tiger. Like we must have seen, if you have pet or you have pet, आपके घर पे कोई pet हो या नहीं हो, जो भी हो, but we have that idea कि उनके जो paws होते हैं वो बहुत velvety होते हैं. Okay, soft, that very much that texture, if you can say, it is very soft. So that is actually on pads of velvety quiet. Pads means it is like a very fluffy, like that. And tiger, we can understand it would be fluffy in that sense. So pads of velvet quiet, that velvety, that texture is there in the paws. And quiet, quiet means actually children silently. So as the paws are very much velvety, so the friction with the ground is not creating any sound, so it is very quiet. So how the tiger is walking in this line, that is being said, that the tiger is walking few steps inside the cage and on his velvety paws very silently. The meaning entirely is that. And in his quiet rage, this last line is talking about the mood of the tiger, that how the tiger was feeling at that time. You can see in his quiet rage. Here also one thing you have to notice, children, that two opposite words are juxtaposed. Juxtaposed means पास पास बिठाया गया है. How? That quiet and rage. Children, quiet means here calmness, and rage means what you know, that it is anger. So anger and calmness both are very much contradictory. दोनों वर्ड आपस में बहुत ही opposite है, लेकिन यहाँ पर इसको दिखाया गया है in his quiet rage, means obviously the tiger is feeling helpless. Tiger is angry inside, but he can't show it outside. So that's why he is behaving from outside. Nobody can understand the tiger is angry. He is so quiet. Okay, but inside he is very much angry, because obviously a tiger whose natural habitat is jungle and now he is there confined inside the cage, so definitely the tiger is not at all liking it and he is angry. But quiet rage, this is also very significant. It is actually showing the helplessness of the tiger here. Okay, now let us go for the next stanza. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. So children, in this stanza पोएट ने क्या दिखाया है कि जंगल में टाइगर कैसे बिहेव करेगा. अगर जंगल में टाइगर होता, अभी वो केज में नहीं होता, तो वो कैसे बिहेव करता. सी, ही शुड बी लर्किंग इन शैडो. लर्किंग मीन्स चिल्ड्रन हाइडिंग. लर्किंग द वर्ड मीन्स हाइडिंग. तो द पोएट इज टेलिंग कि अगर वो जंगल में होता तो ही शुड बी लर्किंग इन शैडो. Shadow of what? Sliding through the long grass. Okay, so obviously long grasses are there in the jungle. Obviously there to proper trimming, proper pruning of the grasses, obviously we can't expect that. So long grasses are there, and behind that long grass, as if the tiger would be hiding himself. For what? It is there in the next line. Near the water hole where plump deer pass. Maybe near to some water body, long grasses are there. Near the water hole means some water body where plump deer pass. Definitely जंगल है तो बहुत सारे एनिमल्स रहेंगे, और अगर कोई वाटर बॉडी है वहाँ पर तो ज़रूर वहाँ पर वो पानी पीने के लिए आएंगे। तो एक्चुअली पोएट इज़ इमेजिनिंग कि यही टाइगर जो आज कन्फाइंड है केज के अंदर, ये अगर जंगल में रहता तो वो कैसे बिहेव करता। तो दैट इमेजिनेशन हैज़ टेकन द पोएट टू दिस काइंड ऑफ सिनारियो वेर ही इज़ इमेजिनिंग दैट द टाइगर इज़ एक्चुअली हाइडिंग बिहाइंड द लॉन्ग ग्रास एंड दैट लॉन्ग grasses are near to one water body where he was waiting eagerly for its prey. Obviously you can see it is written plum deer pass. Children, plum means very fluffy. The word plum means very fluffy. So the deer to always means, you know, that here plum deer pass means definitely if the deer will come to the plum deer, they will come to drink the water and the tiger will jump onto it and will make it its easy prey. So it is actually having some significance, this entire stanza. Like it is actually showing that the tiger is actually the symbol of power. And if I have to talk more prominently, it is a symbol of aggressiveness. It is the nature of tiger. We can't expect the name tiger, that's why listening to that we get frightened. That if by chance in front of us one tiger will come, definitely children we will not think that how the nature would be of this tiger. Obviously we have instantly in our mind that this tiger is very much harmful, it may eat us. So definitely this aggressiveness of the tiger is very much present in this stanza. Like the poet wanted to show that the tiger will actually be able to show its power when it is in the jungle, and jungle which is its natural habitat. And this is actually very much normal, natural, children. You know that ecosystem if we consider, then we can't consider this tiger waiting for its prey and killing one deer to be very much harsh or very much cruel. It is the ecosystem. Okay, so that's why the tiger, how naturally it would behave in the jungle, it is written in this second stanza. Okay, so let us go for the third stanza. See what is written. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. So again two stanzas here it is written. So the third stanza again we will see that it is again about the tiger who is in a jungle. Okay, so first stanza we have seen it is the tiger in a cage, second stanza the tiger in a jungle, now the third stanza again the tiger in the jungle only. What the poet has written? He should be snarling around houses. Snarling means, children, the word you can see here, snarling means making some noise and out of anger. Okay, that out of anger or out of aggression, if the tiger is making one sound, that is called snarling. So if the tiger would be in the jungle, what the poet is telling, he should be snarling around houses. Now houses where? We are talking about jungle. So why it is houses here? Children, the poet is talking about the place where the houses can be seen. It is at the jungle's edge, means at the end of the jungle, from where the villages start. Maybe the tiger, if it would be there in the jungle, it would be going just at the end of the jungle where the villages start. Okay, he would be snarling around those houses. And how he would be snarling around the houses? Baring his white fangs. Baring means showing his white fangs. Now children, fangs you must know that fangs are the two that large sharp teeth that are both the sides of the mouth of the tiger, that we call canine. If you know the names of the teeth, it is the canine that we say, that both the side, okay, that both the side the two long sharp teeth is there, that is called fangs. So the tiger, definitely here also the image if we imagine of the tiger, children, it is very much aggressive. So see, baring his white fangs, his claws, obviously nakhun, claws means the nakhun, and he will be definitely taking out the claws because he must be ready for the prey. Okay, terrorizing the village means, and how it would be, the effect it would leave on the villagers, that they will be terrified. वो सब डर जाएंगे टाइगर को देख के. When the tiger they will see, जब वो देखेंगे कि एक टाइगर है and the tiger is snarling, means बहुत ज़ोर से आवाज़ कर रहा है as if he is very much angry and also showing his fangs and claws, that automatically that will terrorize the villagers. So this is again in the third stanza how the tiger would behave if it would be in the jungle. The poet has shown it very clearly. So it is actually, children, that I was telling you बिगिनिंग में मैं जैसे आपको बोल रही थी कि दैट इज़ एक्चुअली द कॉन्ट्रास्ट विथ विच द पोएट हैज़ प्रेजेंटेड द थीम दैट फ्रीडम वर्सेस कैप्टिविटी। यहाँ पर आई थिंक आपको बहुत अच्छे से समझ में आ रहा है कि कैसे है ये कॉन्ट्रास्ट। लाइक एक बार पोएट दिखा रहा है कि पोएट द टाइगर इज़ वेरी हेल्पलेस, बट नेक्स्ट टाइम नेक्स्ट स्टैंजा में पोएट ने अच्छे तरीके से एज अ कॉन्ट्रास्ट दिखाया कि इन द जंगल द टाइगर इज़ नॉट एट ऑल फीलिंग हेल्पलेस, rather the tiger is very much powerful in the jungle. So helplessness and aggressiveness, these two are quite contradictory. Okay, now let us go for the next stanza. See, that is the last stanza. Okay, that one stanza I got actually missed. It is written, okay, this stanza let us complete. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. What the poet is telling? But he is locked in a concrete cell. Again in this stanza, the poet is back to the tiger in a cage. That is written, but he is locked, he means already you know tiger, that he is locked in a concrete cell. But if the tiger would be there in a jungle, he would be behaving like that. In the previous two stanzas we have seen. But here the poet is telling, यहाँ पर poet बोल रहे हैं कि लेकिन टाइगर अभी लॉक्ड है कॉन्क्रीट सेल, मतलब दिस इज एक्चुअली टॉकिंग अबाउट द कॉन्क्रीट सेल मेड अप ऑफ कॉन्क्रीट, मेड अप ऑफ रॉक वी कैन से और सीमेंट वी कैन से. His strength behind the bars. Now the strength of the tiger can't be shown by him because he is behind the bars and he knows it very well that it would be useless. He can't do anything here. So that's why his strength behind the bars. Tiger's strength is behind the bars, as if with the tiger, the strength of the tiger is also locked inside the cage. And what he is doing here? Stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. He is just walking to and fro the length of the cage and he is ignoring the visitors. Children, you have to understand here that why this phrase is written ignoring visitors. Because you know that visitors, obviously we human beings, when we go to zoo for the sake of our own entertainment, definitely we forget that we are actually the prey of this tiger or the animals that we are there to see, okay, or watch. So here the tiger, who can easily make any of the visitors its prey, he can't do it now. So that's why he is ignoring the visitors, because by now he knows very well that he can't do here anything because he is completely locked inside the cage. So that's why he is ignoring the visitors. Again, feeling of helplessness. Okay, again that feeling of helplessness is very much prominent here in this stanza. Now let us come to the last stanza. See, he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Again the scene of a cage only. What the tiger is doing? He hears the last voice at night. When जब रात हो जाता है and the tiger is there in the cage, that time tiger क्या करता है? Tiger को सुनाई देता है the voice of the patrolling cars. Children, patrolling cars meaning actually to watch the safety of the animals and all, that everything is fine or not, the security is all okay or not. Sometimes the people, they give a round, okay, in their jeep or in their car, they just go around to see that the safety and security of the zoo. So that kind of patrolling cars are moving around and the tiger can listen to the voice of that patrolling car. कार पास से जा रहा है तो डेफिनेटली टाइगर को आवाज़ मिल रहा है. And that time he is doing what more? That is written, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So when he hears the patrolling car, the voice of the noise created by the patrolling cars, at the same time he is doing what? That he stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Children, ये चीज़ आपको बहुत अच्छे से समझना है, because this is also last two lines also very important. Literal meaning, let me tell you first, that he stares with his brilliant eyes. Children, brilliant eyes is what, children? I think you have seen that. Let me talk about one cat only. Have you seen that their eyes are very much sparkling? Okay, so that sparkle in the eyes, it is called actually brilliant eyes. So cat obviously of the tiger family only. So that's why you can see that here the tiger's that sparkling eyes is being referred to here. Okay, that he stares with his brilliant eyes. Stares मतलब कॉन्स्टेंटली एक चीज़ की तरफ देखना. कहाँ पर दिख रहा है वो? एट द ब्रिलियंट स्टार्स. ही इज़ लुकिंग एट द स्काई जहाँ पर स्टार्स है, एंड द स्टार्स आर ऑल्सो स्पार्कलिंग, दे आर ऑल्सो सो ब्राइट. सो दैट्स वाई ब्रिलियंट द एडजेक्टिव इज यूज्ड बोथ फॉर द आईज ऑफ द टाइगर एंड फॉर द स्टार्स, बोथ. So this has one significance, children, that the tiger as the stars in the sky, they are very much bright, and in that sense the sky, you know that there is no limit. So it is actually again coming back to the theme freedom, that as if the stars are so open in the sky, they are so free in the sky. Okay, the tiger is actually here very much hopeful that when I will be also that free like the stars, he is also expecting himself to be like the stars. That's why the same brilliant eyes and brilliant stars, intentionally the poet has used the same adjective for both the eyes and the stars. Like as if the tiger wanted to looking at the stars, he also wanted to be free like them. And that's why as the stars are very much brilliant, the tiger being hopeful, his eyes are also very much sparkling looking at the stars. So again in this stanza we are very much, that means we can see very clearly that how much it is important for every animal to get the freedom, and how much here the tiger is very much helpless, feeling very helpless, which is not actually good. So children, through this poem Leslie Norris wanted to teach us one thing only, the message if we want to talk about, it is like that we should not keep these animals into captivity, we should not keep them inside the cage, we should always leave them or let them free and in their own habitat, natural habitat, that is jungle. Okay, so cages and all that, whenever we visit zoos, children, you know that how much they are means in pitiable condition, the animals, sometimes we see that also. They are not free to move here and there, they are just sitting at one place or they are staring at some place, and who will be happy if they are not in their natural place, in their own place? Definitely children. So it is actually the theme freedom, that freedom is very much essential not only in human beings life but also in animals life also, and we should not interrupt there, we should not disturb them for the sake of our own interest. So children, ये था the line by line explanation of the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. I hope आप सबको बहुत अच्छे से समझ में आया होगा कि क्या इसका थीम है, क्या इसका मैसेज है, पोएट क्या बोलना चाहते हैं इस पोएम के थ्रू. तो I think you have understood it well, but if any further queries are there, do comment in the comment box. तब तक के लिए goodbye.